Morning, members. This is the meeting of the Subcommittee on Promoting Family Education. There is a quorum and it is the appointed time. I call to order the meeting. Item 1 of the agenda. Current situation of family education and the way forward. Please refer to the submissions. They are set out in CB 2621, 621 to 652, 2024. We now invite the administration and the members of the public to join us. The seating plan is set out in Appendixes 1 and 2. There are 22 representatives from bodies and individuals attending the meeting. The Secretariat has received the submissions submitted by 2 organizations which are not going to attend this meeting. The submissions have been sent to members and the administration. We already have the administration with us. May I invite the 22 representatives and individuals to come in. Good morning. I thank the 22 deputations and individuals for joining us. We have also received submissions from 2 deputations which are not going to be present. The submissions have been forwarded to stakeholders. Now, this is the current situation of family education and the way forward. We have invited concerned groups and stakeholders to speak on the subject, and then the government will give a consolidated reply. Today with us we have Mr. Clarence Leung, Undersecretary for Home and Youth Affairs, and the team from the HYAB. We also have Ms. Mandy Ho, Principal Assistant Secretary for Education, Ms. Wendy Chow from the Social Welfare Department and Labor Department, Mr. Raymond Liang, and from the Department of Health, Dr. Patrick Chong. So they will represent the government in today's meeting. Now let me brief members on the House rules. I will give each member 3 minutes to speak. I have to control the time as the chairman. So please avoid overrunning. If you are overrunning by much, I'm going to switch off the microphone. Apology in advance. So please speak into the microphone when you speak, and please avoid mixed usage of Chinese and English because we have simultaneous interpretation service available. So please stick to either Cantonese, English, or Putonghua. If necessary, you may listen to the interpretation channel via the headset. All the submissions submitted and also views put forward in the meeting will not be protected and exempted under Cap 382, Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Ordinance. And please refer to the notes for members of the public attending meetings in conference rooms or observing meetings in public galleries in the Legislative Council complex. The notes has been forwarded to the deputations. So I will invite the public to speak in order, and then we will invite a reply from the government. Dr. Wong Chung Kwong, you are the first. Honorable Mr. Michael Look, Chairman, members and officials, I'm grateful for the opportunity for me to speak here. I'm the chairman of the Whole Person Education Foundation, which is a non-profit organization. Over the past 19 years in Hong Kong, Macau, and the mainland, we were promoting programs on improving general mental health of the population. Now here I would like to summarize what I've said in the submission. There are 2 points. First, effective family education. I stress the word effective. Effective family education is the key to the success of society. Through family education, we can enhance the mental resilience and health of parents and children, foster happy family, and nurture the development of family members. There are 2 gains. First, the society will be more prosperous and stable. Each generation will be better than the previous. Second, the methods we use on family education. Now, it centers around training and curriculum. Now, 30 years ago, I was the dean of the Departments of Psychiatry of the CUHK. My philosophy was we didn't just need treatment plans. We need to adopt a multi-pronged approach and promote mental education simultaneously. That's why I created the ICANN model, which has been in use for 30 years. Now, 11 years ago, the ICANN model was recognized by the Royal College of Psychiatrists in the UK, to which I am a member of. I'm a fellow of the Royal College. Now, please refer to Annex 1. That is the ICANN Practical Psychology Model. Now, last year, we launched an online training program for parents under the ICANN model. There are 10 modules, each running 30 minutes, altogether 5 hours. So please refer to Annex 2 for the contents of the program. The program is very effective in enhancing the mental health of parents and children, and also for creating a harmonious environment in family. So please refer to Annex 3 for the results. There are also sharings from the participants. Now, the ICANN Parent Education program spans across various disciplines. So I would like you to refer to this model. Thank you. Thank you. Next, Ms. Kong. Good morning. I'm the founder of Love Secondhand. The organization offers us training to teenagers with SAN issues. to help them secure employment. Now, I would like to focus on the challenges of communications between parents and children. Parents are very busy as a result, and many times parents are kept in dark when children are experiencing issues. It adds to the stress between parents and children and even lead to self-harm or suicidal behaviors on the part of the children to escape the pressure. So I wonder if we can encourage family members to participate in volunteering services. It can extend the horizon of the children beyond their own hardship to society as a whole and to those who need help. Now, they can see that despite the lack of resources, many people in society are still striving to move upwards. Now, by participating in volunteering services, students may discover their interests and abilities and achieve their goal. Now, this can help students understand better what they embrace and what they want to achieve and understand their needs better. Now, on parents' education, it's best if parents can lead by example and create a positive environment in family. Now, we suggest parents spending more time on the children. Now, time is a scarce resource. Volunteering services are actually a good opportunity for family education, so it is time well spent. Now, I help young people with SEN to secure employment. Now, the Hong Kong SAR government rarely follow-ups on continuous help for SEN young people. Very few of them can secure a place in universities. Now, this is a group of young people with special needs, and society as a whole is quite understanding to this group of people. So we should promote this culture further. Thank you. Thank you. And next, Ms. Ho Sao Fong. Chairman, members, and government officials, good morning. I'm the chairman of the Federation of PTA of Sai Kung Districts, Ho Sao Fong. Now, there are some points I would like to make in terms of parents' education. Now, some parents have to work, some don't. However, in terms of parents' education, we rely very much on the schools. So if parents need to take care of their household, they don't have surplus time to undergo education in schools. So community is very important. Now, we have been made aware of the mental health issues experienced by family, parents, and children after the epidemic. Even schools and teachers are under immense pressure. So this is something we have to pay attention to. And we don't have sufficient community care services for children. So we need to release the potential of parents to serve the community. Thank you. Thank you. And next, Ms. Ngai San Ting.
Good morning. I'm from the PTA in Kowloon City. On family education, I'd like to say that in Kowloon City, there are lots of elite schools, and most parents, when choosing a school, would like their children to be enrolled in them. And many parents, in making their choice, they have neglected the feelings of the children. And you may have heard that parents need to get a license nowadays. Emotional management is actually something necessary for parents to know. So as a representative of PTA, I hope that the government can do more on enhancing parents' emotional management. You need to try to simplify the procedures for and the pressure for children to continue their education so that the parents will not pass the pressure on to their children. Thank you. Next one is Yu Hyun Chun. Chairman, good morning. I'm from Chun Wan PTA. And on parent education, especially after the pandemic, the actually situation is that not many parents are proactive in trying to receive parent education. And often the education involved could be rather shallow and not systematic. So for parents, in terms of family education, they actually have not received much. And yet, family education is so important to children's well-being. Therefore, I hope that the government can consider how to popularize family education so that parents can get more resources and receive the necessary knowledge. Thank you. Next one is Ms. Lau Wing Si. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning. I used to work at a law firm for 15 years, and I've seen various cases. And when I had my own children, I took a course in education. When I came back to Hong Kong, since 2006, I've been involved in parent education offered by a school set up by myself. And I've seen different cases. In Hong Kong, I found that parent education seems to be something to provide immediate relief, but it's actually intended to be preventive rather than putting out a fire. So the starting point seems to be wrong here. Based on my 20 years of experience, if you want to provide parent education, it should be begun when the mother is carrying a baby, that is during the maternity leave. What to learn? That is for the mothers to learn what children mean and what is child development about. Over the past 20 years, when someone started to receive parent education when the mother was pregnant, the children now are 20. I can see the difference in those children. And all along, their parents are willing to learn and receive education. And this actually can awaken, the education itself can awaken or stimulate parents to be more interested in human development. So in our parent education, have we looked at it from a scientific perspective, or do we just look at it from helping people or children get into elite schools, get high scores, get A's in all subjects? Scientists in Germany say that parent education is intended to reduce crime rates. That should be its purpose, and not to help parents provide tutorial support for children. So you can see a big gap in thinking there. So what the government should do? I've written down 200 words for you to read. Hope you have time for that. In Hong Kong, playgroups here, compared with playgroups overseas, I think Hong Kong playgroups are more like pay groups. PAY. It's not so much to help parents raise the children, but it's for parents to bring their children there to just relax. I don't think that young children can learn much in today's so-called playgroups. In Western countries, playgroups involve parents as well, give information to parents on how they can know more about human development. So that's very different from what's offered here. I have lots of information that I can provide to you. I hope that you have time for that to read them, because I can't say all in 3 minutes. Thank you. I'm sure officials will take time to read carefully your informative submission. Thank you. Next one is Ms. Luk Ming Sai. Chairman, officials, everyone, I'm from Luk Ming Sai from Yunnan. I've been involved in education in Yunnan for 30 years. Over the years, I've seen people making much efforts to promote parent education. But how parents learn to be good parents, I think there isn't the strong atmosphere there yet. I hope that we can help create the atmosphere for parents to learn to be good parents and also to adopt skills. Like government strives nowadays to encourage the public to use to get rid of plastics. I want to quote an experienced education worker, Ms. Choi, who said that Parenthon, P-R-E-N-T-H-O-N, Parenthon. Taking reference from the idea of marathon, this term means that parents need to have a lifelong learning to grow together with parents. She hopes that Parenthon will become a big atmosphere here and to encourage parents to exercise their civic responsibility. I hope that we can encourage parents to really take responsibility for parenting. Many people are involved in parent education, like Department of Health, SWD, NGOs, schools, private groups, and so forth. So the whole field seems to be flourishing. But still, you can look at it at groups actually working on their own. Sometimes various organizations compete for clients. So parents take one course this year and then take another course with repeated content later or even conflicting content. So I hope that there can be a committee or a department taking on a coordinating role to provide systematic overall planning for services for parents and to decide on the messages, the core messages to be spread to parents and to set up strategies so we can make good use of our resources. I hope we can have a clear department to coordinate the provision of parent education, like the Tobacco Control Office. We should have an office dedicated to parent education as well. And in Yunnan, we've been providing a systematic parent education course for parents to know the skills and their own roles. And parents attend various courses according to the ages of the children, like from preschool or primary 2 or primary 6. And the curriculum design actually has different core elements for different stages. And parents can attend courses, small group meetings, and also regular courses. And they share their practical difficulties in small groups. And I do hope that parents can look at problems from multiple perspectives. Thank you. Next one, Mr. Yao Wai Yin, Chairman, officials, and guests. Good morning. I'm from the Central Western District PTA. I'm from the representative of the PTA there. I hope that the administration can consider strengthening its policy to provide better support to working families with small children so that the parents can feel at ease putting their children at playgroups or daycare centers or kindergartens. For working families, the caring for the children after school is a big challenge. Sometimes they may need to work overtime or finish their work in time to pick up their children after school. And this increases the pressure on families and it could affect the mental health and physical health of children. I hope that the administration can provide more subsidies to preschool services so that there can be more continuation services. For example, assisting schools to extend their operating hours and also provide more after-school caring activities for children so they can remain in school in a familiar environment after school. And the government should also consider increasing financial subsidies for parents to reduce their financial burden. And this will benefit not just working families, help them strike a work-life balance, but also create a better environment for children. In a safe and comfortable environment, if children are well cared for, then that will benefit and very crucial to the overall development. We believe that only parents, schools, and government, when they work together, then they can provide comprehensive support for families. Let us join hands in creating a better future that all small children can grow happily and safely. Thank you. Next one, District Councillor Leung Ping Kin In Hong Kong, we have ethnic minority children, children with special educational needs, and also new immigrant kids. As a district councillor and social worker, I can see that the sources of pressure for these people come from cultural differences, economic pressure, language barriers, or inadequate educational resources. The pressure concern affect the way parents raise their children and can also affect the children's growing up process. So members, government officials, please pay more attention to that. Cultural identity is a big challenge to parents. While maintaining their cultural traditions, the parents concerned need to adjust to the mainstream culture here. In the growing up process, the children may have problems in adjusting to their identities. They may try hard to integrate into mainstream society and yet have to keep their own ethnic culture, so that poses difficulties to them. We've seen this a lot among new immigrants and ethnic minority children. And in terms of language difficulties, that of course have a direct impact on children's learning. If parents and the children do not speak Chinese or English well, or have other language limitations, then they may not understand the issues children face in school, and this could affect the future development of children. Financial pressure is also a fact, particularly for grassroots families or new immigrant families. Besides language barriers and pressure from cultural differences, if their financial difficulties persist, then for small children, for the growing up process, that's also a mounting challenge. So I'm going to make several suggestions. I would like the government to invite NGOs to set up more support services or centers to encourage positive parenting and training for parents. We should develop a community support network for new immigrants and ethnic minority parents, and children can also have a stronger feeling of a home here. And we can use NGOs and government resources to provide language courses, parenting training, and also counseling services for parents. And we need to develop good communication channels with schools. Children spend most of their time in school. If we can strengthen the links between families and schools, that can benefit children's growth. And also we need to pay attention to children's own sense of identity. And if they have good confidence and strong sense of identity, that will help with their development. That's it for me. Thank you. Sorry. Dr. Leung Xin-yi, Chairman, members, good morning. I'm from Hong Kong Polytechnic University, assistant professor from the Applied Social Studies Department. I'm also a PE investigator for a Jockey Club project. I have carried out studies on family situation here. I want to talk about the topic of resilience of families. This is a trendy concept. And secondly, I want to see what kinds of pressure are being faced by families. And I also like to talk about on the future, my own views on that. Firstly, about our own plan. Well, we have entered the 4th year. What do you mean by family resilience? We have seen that during the pandemic, all of the services stopped, and families faced all sorts of tensions. And we found that it's important for us to help families maintain their beliefs, the bonding within families, so that there could be effective communication within families. And after the pandemic, now we've gone back to normalcy. We've seen that many families face the same amount of pressure due to external factors, like after schools resumed classes, many parents and children felt that they were busy catching up. And yet, this is not just a pressure for children, but also for the whole family. And all the changes that happened during the pandemic and now the new normal actually causes families to face new pressure, particularly for SEN children. that is, children with special educational needs or issues, the difficulties are even more for them. And I want to make some suggestions here. Firstly, often we talk about parents and family education, but it seems like family education means the same as parent training. But what's important is that family education does not just involve parent-child education, but we should broaden the concept to include the education for how the family can stay intact. And particularly between parents, that is how husband and wife get along, and also parent-child interactions, relationships, how they can face the pressure together. I think that's one thing that we need to pay attention to. And secondly, we always said that we've lost fathers, because we often in parent education we want to involve fathers, and yet parents have little participation. So we need to use various means to involve fathers more, because the fathers represent the role of husbands.
Dr. Amelia Lee Namyuk. Good morning, Chairman, officials and members. I would like to start by thanking the government for arranging today's consultation session. I represent a group of bodies. The Continuing Education Department of the Baptist University of Hong Kong developed the curriculum framework for parents' education for kindergarten, primary school, and very soon secondary school. We have 5 points to make concerning family education. Now, I thank the government for subsidizing or funding us to develop this curriculum framework. However, development of children starts from age 0. So we should plug the gap for family education for parents with children aged 0 to 3. And also on families with special needs. And there are factors which would affect the development of the children, so more resources should be given to these families. We already have the framework for parent education, but we understand the situation is ever changing. We have an aging population and we have more immigrants from the mainland, so we need to give them more support, and also for ethnic minority parents. Now, because of a number of reasons, they have more children in their families, so we need to provide professional help in terms of translation services and education packages for the new immigrants. Thirdly, the government has been funding the creation or development of parents' education programs, but do we have a mechanism to review whether these programs are effective? And can we provide more incentives for parents to sign up for these programs, say certificates or bonuses, financial bonuses, to provide incentives for parents to join? We need a whole society approach in fostering families and promoting family education. So we need to bring on board the social welfare sector, the healthcare sector, and the education sector, as well as other professional bodies to help educating our parents. So I'm grateful for the importance attached by the government to family and parents' education. So let's work together and provide better support for children. Ms. Ning Yun Kwan. Thank you. I'm Ling Yun Kwan. I'm from the Family Support Network of the Parent Support Network and the Family Life Education Unit of the Hong Kong Federation of Youth Groups. Now, we understand that there is a bigger gap between parents and children. There is a chasm. So there are a lot of conflicts in families. So we have put forward 9 suggestions. I will focus on other suggestions and our expectations. Now, we would like to mobilize youth power to support families. Now, we have started a program in 2019 to foster neighborhood spirit in society. Now, so far, 3,000 young people or young volunteers have joined the program. Now, these young people can be given more training so that they can use their creativity and provide support to families. Second, we need to provide more innovative family education programs. Now, the Education Bureau is doing that, but in the community, we are still in lack of such a program. Now, we have introduced the Strengthening Family program from the United States, and we have modified the programs for Asian families' need. Now, the contents of the programs can help enhance communication in families and reduce conflicts. Thirdly, we should strengthen the foundation for family health. Now, for example, healthy use of internet and also healthy family finance and healthy communication in family, we can disseminate the message and provide training on these fronts. Now, in Shamshui-Po, the HKFYG has developed the first comprehensive family education building, providing clinical mental health services and other developmental programs for younger people. So these programs can also be delivered to parents as well. Fourthly, we need to conduct further study on the changing familial structure. Now, because of the aging population and also other factors and also the socioeconomic changes, there are more people who are reluctant to get married and give birth. Now, we need to continue conducting surveys to ensure that we can address the problem in a targeted manner. Now, fifth, we should set up family education centers in the districts so as to provide a structural family training programs to the communities, especially young people who lack familial support. Through family education center, we can provide training to parents and establish a community safety net. Thank you. Mr. Chen Tan Tan, District Councillor. Good morning, Chairman, members, and government officials, and fellow deputations. I am a Sha Tin District Councillor, Chen Tan Tan. I used to be a secondary school teacher. I was involved in the operation of Parents-Teacher Association. So I have some suggestions to make to the government. Many deputations before me mentioned about the importance of community family education, which we are lacking. In many districts, there are empty or vacant school premises and also former mutual assistance association premises. Can the government release these premises under short-term tenancy for NGOs or independent organizations to offer family education to community members, especially families with newborns? Second, for families with working parents, the parents don't have much time to accompany their children, not to mention receiving family education. Now, a child in my constituency told me that during the epidemic, they had twice or thrice more time to stay with their parents during the epidemic. Yes, we need to catch up with family education and also the impact of the epidemic, but the epidemic actually offered a valued opportunity for family members to stay together. So can we change the culture in workplace and provide family-friendly policies like flexible working hours or subsidies for family activities? Can the governments take lead? The government, in particular the HYAB, started offering family education programs through NGOs, for example, and new parents training and so on. Now, a lot of families with newborns are using electronic pacifiers, that is electronic devices to keep their children behave. So we need to pay attention to internet and cybersecurity as well, besides national security. So can we provide more education on cybersecurity and internet security to parents so that they can filter out problematic contents for their children? The government should continue working closely with the district councils to better our family education. Thank you. Ms. Bonnie Ng. Good morning. I am Bonnie Ng. I was a fringe youth. I attempted suicide once, but now I'm a mother to 2 children. I'm also a tutor, a counselor for young families. Now, I actually have first-hand experience in fringe families. I can use my experience to help others. Now, the issue in Hong Kong is children are facing different challenges during different stages of development. We can't give them help without knowing what they need. We have a very high suicide rate in Hong Kong. We need to focus on early education. Children aged between 0 and 6, this is the golden period for the developments. They need to learn to feel their own feelings. They need to learn to manage their emotion. They need to learn how to solve problems and survive in the world. In Hong Kong, however, the culture is one of sheep mentality. Parents are asking children to learn to write before learning how to be a human being. They are asking the children to pursue advanced education before laying a foundation for them. The parents themselves don't know about these stuff either. So I agree with Ms. Lau. We need to provide family or parents education to parents with children under the age of 3, and then we have to provide continuous help to them. When a lot of families don't have time to pursue these education, the government has to step in. Now, if there is no time, no financial means, and no room, then the mental health will deteriorate. Now, I think we need to do better. We need to set a statutory minimum wage for each position and each job. I have lived in Australia for a long time, and this is something that they are doing. Now, we should work with the Hong Kong Association of Youth and so on. We need to enlist help from the community. But actually, you can't be too aggressive in providing help to them. They would hide from you. I have similar experience. So you need to give them what they need. Now, 3 minutes are too short, but please refer to my submission. You need to find a way to connect with the youth, not just give them attention that they don't need. Now, maybe we can set up a corner in the school and put a counselor to sit there and wait for the young people to reach out to them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, Ms. Fong Mo Kwan. Good morning, Chairman, members, and government officials. I am the Chairman of the Women Association of Kowloon. Now, in the Chinese culture, we put much value on family harmony. Now, we need to promote family education under the new era. Now, to keep abreast with time and keep tab of the issues in Hong Kong, we should offer family education framework which suits our need. Now, in March and April, we conducted a survey on family education in Hong Kong. Now, through questionnaires and also focused interviews, we have conducted surveys on 800 parents. Now, we have already submitted our proposals in the written submission. Now, in summary, there are 7 observations and 8 proposals. Among these 7 observations, they include the average time of families spent on family education it is relatively low, and mothers are usually the person in charge of family education. Second, Hong Kong families focus on moral values and also life skills in family education, and they give a less priority to lifelong planning and children's mental health. Thirdly, many families think they are doing quite well in terms of family education. 45% of parents have planned to pass on important core values to their children, and for these families, they are more likely to succeed. Fifth, more families would seek help when they encounter issues, but the majority of the respondents said they would find solutions on their own, including looking solutions up in the internet and also asking friends to help. Seventh, in promoting family education, many parents think that the community can offer more workshops on child psychology and so on, and also workshops to foster the right values. Now we are making 8 proposals, including 1 hour of high-quality family education. Second, online platform for core values inheritance. Third, in lifelong planning, we should promote school parents collaboration. Fifth, we should give more time for parents to accompany their children. And sixth, we should provide help to resolve marital issues. Seventh, we should review the contents of family education, and also we should offer more support for new mothers. And also we should establish demonstration zones to develop core values. Thank you.
Next one, Ms. Wong Wen-Wang. Chairman, good morning, everyone. I'm from the PTA in Sha Tin. In fostering family education, I hope that the government can do more promotions. I have 3 kids, and they're in secondary and primary school. Well, apart from being exposed to family education in schools at the community level, parents have told me that they need to look hard for it. They need to approach NGOs. And yet, parents in Hong Kong, most of them have to work. And when they finish work, when they want to look for information, they'll be too tired to do anything, or the organizations are closed already for the day. So when problems occur, then in the family, tragedies could happen. Recently, I've seen from news, sad cases. So I hope that the government can find ways to strengthen parents' exposure to family education, so the education can be made more accessible, easily accessible to them. Next one, Ms. Punai Ching. Chairman, officials, parents, good morning. I'm an individual presenter. I'm very pleased to see the Assistant Director of Social Welfare and also Ms. Ho from Education Bureau are here at this meeting. As parents, they need to learn how to raise their kids. For students with special educational needs, their parents are under even more pressure. Not just in terms of caring for them, educating them. Pressure also comes from providing medical care, future employment, accommodation for the children. And it's sad to see the case recently of a SEN carer, an SEN child actually who took their lives. And just now, someone mentioned about for ethnic minority families, SEN teachers of those families face even more difficulties because of language and cultural differences. And there are also some school leavers with only support for 2 years, and that's not enough time for them to move on to other support services. Therefore, we need to enhance parents' knowledge about parenting, and also particularly to help families with SEN students. We propose that we should set up relevant content for parent education, for parents to understand the functions of families and to increase the understanding of SEN students and to help parents relieve their pressure or emotional burden. And we need to invite parents to join children's individual learning plans and also provide continuous long-term plans to integrate social service resources for them. And the parent education needed by parents can include assessment of parents' needs, individual parents' needs. We should provide diverse methods and to help parents choose the support they need, education they need, and for costs, children's support services, transportation allowances, those are what we should consider providing as well for the parents. For schools, they should know their codes, and for SEN parents, we should invite the parents to take part in courses to improve parent-child relationships in families with SEN students. We also need to increase positive parent training and invite parents to join in various school activities. One last point, which is the most important, is that I hope that the SWD and Education Bureau can, on a regular basis, at least twice a year, organize parents' meetings so they can reflect to the Education Bureau the resources they need and the problems they face. Or we can set up polling or opinion surveys to collect views from parents on the problems they face. Next one, Ms. Lang. Good morning, officials and everyone. I'm from the Hong Kong Family Mediation Association. I also lecture at Polytechnic University. Our NGO hopes that family mediation can be encouraged to foster developments of families because as compared to family education now, they cover broad topics. In the cases I handled, I found that many family conflicts, like in 2021, we carried out a study which found that almost half of the parents said that they had problems, communication issues with or conflicts with the children over learning and also use of mobile phones. And about 50% and more than 30% of children and parents did think of harming themselves and others. So we would suggest that we can actually do the following things. In terms of parenting education, we should have more depth, add to the depth of those education, and include mediation as a way to help parents facing conflicts with the children, and to help parents improve their communication and dispute resolution skills. And we can collaborate with universities to provide courses, provide courses to provide psychological support for parents. We hope that parents can have positive mindsets in educating their children. And in terms of channels, we hope there can be diverse channels, including online, offline. As we said, there are parents who work, both mothers and fathers work. So when they are at work, they may need to get education online. And also we can combine online and offline support for them in like organizing workshops for providing family mediation and to help parents support the children. And in the mainland and Taiwan, they have set up community networks, so we can take reference for them to use networks as a source of support for parents and to foster experience sharing and exchanges among families, and so there can be a support system for various families to ease their pressure as well. And thirdly, we hope that in restoring to mediation, many parents would wonder what to do next. So we have to make attention to the quantity and quality of services and to provide continuous assessment of ways to improve our services. In terms of providing family mediation, we should carry out regular assessment with universities so that our services can be more satisfactory to parents and improve the quality of our family services. Next one, Ms. Ching. Chairman, officials, good morning. I'm from the Federation of Trade Unions, and also I'm a member of the All Nation Women's Federation. All along, we've been concerned about women's healthy development. President Xi Jinping said that families are the basic cells of societies and the first school that everyone goes to. So good family education is a good step key step for social stability. But often in Hong Kong's family education, it focuses more on the individuals and lack the traditional Chinese culture of cultivating personal virtues. And families can lead to instability in the society. The Women's Commission under the Hong Kong FTU welcomes the policy address support for family education and also the whole new family education scheme launched by the HYAB. We launched that society, school can join hands in enhancing family education. Firstly, we hope that the government can launch family-friendly policies. You know, Hong Kong's working hours are among the longest worldwide. On average, working hours in Hong Kong is 43 hours per week. Very few parents have time to accompany their children. But you all know that harmonious families means keeping your family members company. I hope that the government can actively promote family planning policies like flexible working hours, flexible working locations, and so forth, so that parents have time to care and accompany their children. And we also need to launch family education training courses. Just now we've heard from a lot of representatives that family education on how to parent your kid is an important topic. The government is obliged to provide support for that. I hope that the Hong Kong government can provide family education training courses so that for those couples who want to have children, provide the courses to them free and teach them how to raise the children later on and provide life planning for the children and also to get prepared to be parents. And this can help set up harmonious families. And we need to set up a steering committee to help the community promote the concept of family-centered values. And we also need to strengthen the role of family council. I hope that the council can provide authoritative information and to avoid any spreading of misinformation. And thank you. That's the end of my sharing. Thank you. So thank you all groups and individuals for sharing your views and attending today's meeting, sharing your views with us, providing valuable ideas. And now may I invite the HY Clarence Leung, Undersecretary for Home and Youth Affairs, to respond. Chairman, members and deputations and individuals present here today and the public, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for sharing with us and for the committee and the government, sharing your valuable opinions. I know that many friends have already given us written submissions. The administration and the relevant departments would read them carefully and look at them as for reference. And let me thank you all once again for your presence. And I also like to thank this subcommittee, chairman and members, all along your work done and your arrangement for today's chance for us to hear from various individuals and deputations. Just now, views were expressed on family education, the importance of it. We very much agree with it, with its importance, and we have been actively carrying out the relevant work. You have heard that this year, HYAB, a main theme of our work, is to encourage harmonious families. Just now, various members or presenters mentioned the importance of family welfare. And all along, we've been supporting the work of Family Council, promoting to the public the family-oriented culture and the message of love and care. Family values involve care and love and communication. Our work has involved promoting family education, and mostly through various publicity campaigns. And we've also shared videos and published storybooks to spread the messages concerned and to various age groups. The themes in our publicity programs include, like what was mentioned by various presenters, like family-friendly policies and so forth.
On the other hand, the Family Council has implemented various funding schemes for NGOs and youth groups to organize various activities to promote a family care culture. So allow me to share my personal experience from these activities with you. Some deputations mentioned that there should be more activities held. So many youth groups have been organizing family activities on holidays and weekends. And also, a number of NGOs have organized in-depth family education workshops and seminars for parents. There are even support groups established. And we think these measures are very effective. So we will continue to support activities held by the Family Council and the NGOs. So it was mentioned that in the 2023 policy address, the Chief Executive announced the launch of a 5-year new family education promotion plan starting this year to fund community activities. Now, the annual funding amount is $5 million, covering education for new parents and also marital education and so on. So it was also mentioned that we should encourage parents and children to participate in volunteering services together. There were also concerns raised over cybersecurity and internet education. So we will take on board these suggestions and we will accede to funding application from NGOs concerning these programs. So I thank all the members today, and I will also invite my colleagues from the Education Bureau and the Social Welfare Department to give a brief reply to the proposals mentioned just now. Education Bureau. Thank you, Chairman. I thank the members of the public who attended today's meeting. The Education Bureau adopts the policy of a school-based principle in promoting family and parent education with the support of the community. Now, concerning the culture of competition in schools. Now, we have started the Positive Parents campaign since 2020. Under the campaign, we try to inculcate the culture of happy development and happy learning in schools. Now, we hope we can drive a change in the mindsets of the parents to provide room for happy learning for their children. Also, it was mentioned that the family and parents education program should be more structured. The Education Bureau has engaged post-secondary institutions to develop a curriculum framework on parents' education for kindergarten, secondary, and primary school students. Now, the idea is to provide a blueprint covering 4 core aspects to promote a balanced and happy development of children, and also parents and mental health, and also collaboration with schools. So family education is not just about the family themselves. It's also about interaction with the community. So through the curriculum framework, we can implement school-based and community-based parent education programs in a more structured manner. Some deputations mentioned about strengthening cybersecurity and internet education. Now, the PTAs and also the Committee on Homeschool Cooperation has organized a seminar on providing guidance to the e-generation. Now, some 400 parents participated in the 28 sessions held. The seminar focused on helping parents to guide their children in distinguishing between fake news and genuine information on the internet. Now, some deputations also mentioned better help for families with SEN children. Now, besides developing the curriculum framework, we also asked the universities to develop e-learning resources under the framework. So even for working parents who are very busy, they can still learn from the internet at their own time. Now, thank you for the concerns raised over the issue of children's mental health. Now, we have implemented the 4-hour charter with a view to training parents and students to become gatekeepers of students' mental health. We are also providing subsidies to the Committee on Homeschool Cooperation. So we hope that with that funding, we can foster a positive culture in schools. Social Welfare Department. I thank the deputations for their views. Now I will speak concerning my purview of social welfare. Now, there were views that we should strengthen community-based family education and strengthen neighborhood support. I fully agree with these suggestions. So the SWD and also the NGOs we are subsidizing are running 65 integrated family centers and also 2 family life education units. Now, these are the 65 integrated family service centers and the 2 integrated services centers. We are working with subsidized NGOs and also district councillors, ward officers, and also women's associations and other community groups to provide family education. We also welcome referrals of cases to us. Activities have been held in a collaborative manner. So the service centers would offer professional help to parents and children. And there are also referral services. We are also subsidizing NGOs to operate 21 family life education units. So these units would collaborate with the integrated family service centers and integrated services centers to provide family life education. The idea is to strengthen the functions of families from a preventive point of view. We invite family members to review their roles and responsibilities as well as their relationships so as to build up a sense of responsibility towards their family as well as a positive culture. Concerning children with special education needs, we have been providing rehabilitation services to young children. Now, at childcare centers and also neighborhood support childcare projects, we are providing school-based services to children. Now, for children waiting for assessments at our centers, we would offer primary rehabilitation services to children assessed with special education needs. Now, for carers who need to care for children with disabilities or other special needs, they are under immense stress. Now, we have 9 relative support centers for children with special needs. Through these centers, we are providing support for carers. So when they face issues and stress, they can get support from the centers. Now, last November, we launched the one-stop carers information platform so that carers can gain access to comprehensive information on the website. The contents of the website also covers carers for children with special needs and disabilities. The platform offers training and also information on techniques to help their children. So we do encourage parents and children to participate in a variety of activities to foster their relationship. So our centers are organizing various activities and also seminars to build up a relationship between family members. Thank you. Now, Labor and Welfare Bureau, the Labor Department, Mr. Raymond Liang, Assistant Commissioner. Thank you. I thank the deputations for their views. Now, some deputations mentioned fostering a family-friendly culture in workplace. Here, I will talk about the Labor Department's work. On family-friendly employment measures, the Labor Department is pursuing 2 directions. First, improvements or enhancements in legislation. Second, publicity on enhancing legal protection for families. Now, in the past few years, we have been seeking to enhance holiday benefits for family, including paternity and maternity leaves extension and also other statutory leaves. There have been improvements in this regard over the past few years. Now, of course, we need to balance the interest of employers and employees. And also, in view of the changing economic situation in Hong Kong, we are seeking gradual improvements for labor rights. Now, we have the consecutive or continuous contracts and requirements under the law. Now, the Labor Advisory Panel has reached a consensus to relax the requirements under the continuous contract. Now, we're now working on the legislative amendments of the law. After that, for employees with shorter working hours, they can still meet the continuous contract requirements under the law so that they can enjoy more benefits. Now, this is in terms of law. Second, on publicity. Every change to the legislation would affect all employers in Hong Kong. So there are some constraints in terms of legislative amendments, but we do encourage employers to do their best to give benefits exceeding that required by the law. So we are launching the 2024 Good Employer Charter this year. So compared with last November, we have made some progress. After the initiation ceremony, we accepted voluntary application from employers. The application period has closed on the 31st of March. We are now assessing the applications. By the third quarter this year, we will organize an award ceremony to further publicize the Good Employer Charter. So under the Good Employer Charter, we encourage employers to adopt good human resources management practices and provide more family-friendly measures. Now, concerning family-friendly measures, there are 3 areas. First, flexible working hours. Now, some deputations mentioned about flexible work time and also workplace. Now, we invite employers who offers flexible working hours and workplace to employees to sign up under the Good Employer Charter to share their experience and practices with other employers. So on.
And just now someone mentioned about the suggestion of paternity or parent-child holidays. Yeah, I think outside of the employment ordinance, we do hope that employers can do more, and also we can provide more support for daily living so that working parents can have more time and space to deal with their family issues. The Good Employer Charter, well, in terms of the number of participating organizations, it has increased. In 2018, about 500 companies or employers joined. In 2020, second year, when the charter was launched, its number rose to 900. We don't know the ultimate number for 2024, but I'm sure that this year's number will surpass 900. So I hope that through widespread publicity, more employers will be aware of the importance of family-friendly policies, not just for the sake of employees' balance work and their family life, but also for the employers themselves is helpful, because with the flexible policies, employers will find it easier to hire staff, and employees would also do the work more committed to the work. So with the changes, improvements in the legislations, and with promotional work, we'll step up our efforts. Dr. Chong from the Department of Health, please. First of all, I'd like to thank organizations and individuals for speaking on family education. Just now I heard from deputations about the importance of parent education and also the importance of educating parents more when a child is age 0 to 5. For that age group, Department of Health is providing primary health care for children. You know, the children would have injections at MCHCs, and also we also monitor children's growth, physical growth. We also provide parent education services with the purpose of helping increase parents' confidence in rearing children and improving their skills so as to reduce the chances of children having behavioral problems. We are providing our services in two aspects. One is the overall parent education. Whenever a parent comes back to our clinics, our staff will seize the chance to provide individual counseling to parents. We also offer health workshops and talks to help relevant education for parents. Individual parents may, after hearing our messages, want to know more, or in our conversations with them, we found that the parents have the need to know more about parent education or parenting. So we would provide a deeper course to help them, which is a systematic course conducted in the format of a small group to provide more in-depth, comprehensive information and guidance for parents. So simply put, we will use various formats, ways of intervention to respond to parents' needs and provide for them the education they need. Thank you. Now it's time for members to raise questions. Which members have questions? And you may ask, raise questions to officials or others. The first one, Vincent Chang. First of all, I'd like to thank and welcome all of you to this meeting to share with us your views on family education. I've learned a lot. This topic of family, well, it's never ending. A lot can be done. On the whole, I feel that the HYAB, through the Family Council, has done a lot of work. And I've been paying attention to the work of the council. I think its work has been broadened in recent years. It has worked and promoted its efforts on various themes. One thing that's important to me, I think, now with so many groups here today, of course, you want to see that, well, more resources can be distributed to meet various community needs, and there's also need to be policy support. The Family Council, based on the minutes of your past meetings, I found that you have carried out various studies, which is good. And I feel that once a study is done, you can actually implement the suggestions. For example, in 2018, let me check the year. Yeah, you did a study on reasons for divorces in Hong Kong. In the end, well, your report states that, of the many cases of divorces, there are various reasons, and you also raised the issue of maintenance payment. And just now, Policy Address announced that there will be a support scheme for maintenance payment. So I want to ask then, the Bureau, HYAB, are you going to do more work going forward, such as studies which can find solutions for community problems and provide solutions like this issue of maintenance payment? And also, last year in LegCo, we had a discussion back then involving more than 30 members to enhance support for families. And you raised several suggestions on what you would do this year. Can you update us on the latest progress on that? You said that you would expand the scope of assistance for families to enhance more parent education. And also you said that in the second half of this year, you will organize a summit for support for women. And also you launch one-stop service providing information for women. Okay, so can you let us know what's the latest progress? Mr. Leung, Undersecretary, thank you. Mr. Chang, for your questions. And I'd also like to thank him for recognizing the work of Family Council. First question. Our studies on the family will be continued. And it all depends on the topics of concern at different points in time. We will involve universities or research organizations to carry out studies and compile reports for us. And after which, Family Council will have thorough discussions before formulating action plans. Mr. Chair also mentioned about the study on divorces dating back to 2018. That's a good example. Actually, besides, well, the policy address suggestions for mediation for settling maintenance payment, in our study, we also found that well, divorce as a social phenomenon, what are the reasons behind? What can we do to address this issue? Last year, we launched a series of publicity campaigns, including short videos, to let the public know or the society know better what they need to know about marriages and to maintain harmonious marriages. So we think that that can help with families here. And secondly, this year, on our policies related to families, as mentioned by Mr. Cheng just now, we have the summit planned. Actually, in the fourth quarter of this year, we will launch the summit for women. And also, just now, Mr. Chang mentioned our support for family education and the publicity involved. Actually, as I said in my brief response, in the second half of this year, we will launch that. And the plan actually has a budget of 8 million annually, and we'll invite NGOs in Hong Kong to, on various family-related issues, propose series of activities. And they're welcome to apply to the Council for funding support. It's similar to what we had done before. As I said, collaborations with NGOs. In the past, we would focus on particular themes for a certain year, like divorce, family education, or new themes such as new parents for the coming year. But going forward, we're going to broaden the scope. That is, NGOs, should they think that any particular themes should be given more attention, like the issues they found on e-platforms and so forth, or on how we can help families as a whole and to promote positive parenting or communication within families, and those could be included in our work this year. And we hope that going forward, we can be in closer contact with NGOs in relation to family education, and also particularly with NGOs concerned with families. We do look forward to collaborating more with them. Okay, I personally want to thank all the deputations and individuals for their precious views expressed today. They cover all sorts of areas from schools, families, societal perspectives, various theories, or their understanding about family education. We hope that together we can move forward. All views expressed are very good, but I'd like to highlight a few and supplement a bit. Firstly, I'd like to ask Ms. Lok Ming Sai from Yuen Long. In the Yuen Long Community Hall, they have a family education group, and it's been 20 years since they've been doing the work there. In Hong Kong, there are only 14 family education groups in various districts, but it's not every group which is like Yuen Long Community Hall Group, which is very systematic in providing the education, and the learning hours are long and courses tend to be more in-depth. So may I ask Ms. Look, based on your experience, such kind of in-depth courses, how effective is it for parents, and as opposed to one-off talks? What are the strengths, advantages of your training courses, your experience in Yuen Long?
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman, for your question. The Yuen Long Community Hall has been running the parents' education, the School for Parents' Education for 26 years. Now, we even have a secondary school session now. Now, some parents have been learning with us for a decade. Now, many of them told us that they had doubts at the beginning because they wonder whether they could really put what they learned into practice. But then they noticed a change in themselves and even their children a few years later. Now, looking back, now the children are in secondary or even secondary schools or even universities. Now, they think they are really witnessing a big change. Social workers and other parents can share with these parents their experience at different stages of the children's development. Now, in a year, we have 10 sessions. Parents would bring along their children in these lessons. So in a course, the parents would be studying in more than 20 sessions to learn about how to better their parental skills. Thank you. I think the social welfare department can consider whether this model is well promoting to other districts. Now, if there is a lack of manpower in the committee for homeschool cooperation, we should give them more resources, because I think this is a good example. It is really successful, so the government can learn from the Yuen Long Community Hall model. So I really think that Ms. Look's program should be copied by other districts. So maybe I am someone who live in Yuen Long myself, so that's why this example has come to my attention. So besides our own experience, we can learn from the country and also overseas countries as well. Now, from many submissions, including Ms. Lau Wing-si, she has vast experience in the mainland and also in Canada. So I would like to hear from Ms. Lau. In the mainland, how does the local government offer support for organizations which provide family education? So can you share with us some successful examples in the mainland? Ms. Lau? Please switch on Ms. Lau's microphone. Thank you. In 2019, the country has legislated for family education, and not long after that, the COVID epidemic struck, and then the program was put on hold for several years. So last year, the central government relaunched the program. So under the program, experts would be invited to provide family education at kindergarten. Now, under the program, childcare services for children aged between 0 and 3 is passed on to the CCC as well. Now, previously, for family education or children education at an earlier age, it would be provided by the private sector. Now, the government is taking over that responsibility as well, because they are aware of the importance of early child education, even during pregnancy. Now, actually, many social workers are still very young. They don't have children themselves. So how can they convince the parents to adopt what they tell them. So now the country has invited retired principals to provide parent education for new parents. Now the mass is getting bigger and bigger. So the program covers 100,000 parents already. Now for family education, you can't rely on a degree or a certificate. Experience is what's important. Now there is not a single textbook which can teach you everything about family education and parents training. Now if we make family education a subject, actually the scope would be extremely wide. In the context of Hong Kong, however, it seems that we are only looking at family education from the perspective of social science. What about education science? What about healthcare? What about humanities? So can we pool the best brains from various disciplines together to come up with a curriculum best fits our context? It seems that each discipline and school is only focusing on their own purview, and there is no collaboration. So even if we purchase a program from, say, the US or the Australia, well, the contents don't fit Hong Kong's context. Now, the contents, some of these programs teach parents to let their children walk and take the stairs more in their houses. But that doesn't fit in the Hong Kong context, because unless you are very rich, you won't have a staircase in your home. So some parents told me that it was a waste of time. Some of these seminars conducted by overseas bodies are useless for them because they don't have the same setting at house. Now, these would affect the development of infants or toddlers a lot, but no one is focusing on these minute details. Many parents don't want their children to have to compete in society. But are we giving the parents sufficient help so that they can avoid the grind of the competition in our education sectors? Now, there are even parents who set up groups to help each other compete. So this is quite disappointing. Now, I lived for several years in Canada, and there was one organization which has been doing a great job. It's called Family Place. It has 50 years of experience. Parents who have children aged between 0 and 6 can bring their children to this place and have a session with the counselors for half an hour to an hour. Now, the counselors come from different backgrounds. They are nurses, social workers, even dentists, and some of them are very experienced teachers who are retired. Now, my son is now in his 20s. Now, I took my son to the Happy Family Place back then, and he was just a toddler, and you just need to pay a few dollars in the donation box to enjoy the services. Now, there were professional child development observers who assessed the development progress of my son. Now, let's say if you are taking your child to the Happy Family Place for several consecutive years, you would receive continuous assessments and observation for your kids. Sorry, please be brief, Ms. Lau. Now, there are targeted advice for your child. Do your child have SEN or developmental delays, and what is their characteristics. So I got a lot of useful information for me. Thank you, Ms. Lau. Thank you very much. Sorry, in the interest of time, we have to stop you. Actually, I have a lot of questions for the other deputations, but I don't have time. Sorry. And to the government officials, I would say that the deputations have really done a lot of homework before they gave you their views. So please spend some time to read through their submissions. So if you are conducting another round of consultation, please contact the deputations today and reach out to them. They will be able to give you a lot of help. So this is so our work, the work of this committee may end here, but we will continue to pay attention and to matters in this area. So I thank all the deputations for coming today, and you may leave now.